Georgia, but across the country over a bill to repeal what's known as no excuse absentee voting. That would restrict ballot drop boxes, require more identification for absentee voting, and limit early voting days. And guess what happened? It just passed in the State House right along party lines, 97 to 72. No excuse absentee voting, this is important, was used by more than 1 million Georgia voters last year. Democrats say this new bill will create serious obstacles and reduce voter turnout more than it will increase election security. The bill now heads to the state Senate.
Stephanie Ruhle in a total meltdown this morning on MSNBC. Okay, we're live from the occupied nation's capital. It's 54 days of the occupation. We're now finding out, Raheem Kassam, my co-host, Captain Maureen Bannon. Raheem, we're finding out that the food our troops are being served, there's metal in the food, there's food poisoning, it's unacceptable. It's 5,000, 7,000. Incredible. Jack Posobiec is tweeting that out nonstop. We're going to get all that during the show. You're in the War Room. Tuesday, 2 March, year of our Lord 2021, now with 39 million downloads on the podcast. But that's just like the fourth or fifth type of distribution. We're on the John Fredericks Radio Network nationwide. We really want to thank the folks, WMLB AM 1690 in Atlanta, Georgia, Metro Atlanta, launched yesterday. So great shows yesterday. Doug Collins and his afternoon show, just fantastic. We'll have John Fredericks on here in a minute. We're on Real America's Voice, Dish Channel 219, Comcast 113, so we're cable. We're on the satellite. Real America's Voice is the great streaming service of the Trump movement. We're on Rumble, Gab, Vizio, Roku, Pluto, Telegram, and also you can get kind of memes up on Instagram. G News, GTV in Mandarin, going through the firewall for Lao Beijing. This is a global show. Biggest, most important, and most importantly, the most powerful show in the world. And why? It's not because of the Schmendricks here in this room. It's because of you, the audience, the most engaged, powerful audience out there. Okay, we've got a lot to get through today. We're going to get to John Fredericks. Raheem, how many days unaccompanied? Because we're going to play some clips later of people at the White House at the podium talking about some Chinese Communist Party and just bizarre stuff on refugees, on all of it. We've got Rosemary Jenks coming on. We've got from the former State Department, Pam Pryor. We've got the CEO of Cloud Hub, Jeff Brain. It's a packed show today. Peter Navarro talking about vaccines and, from his time in the task force, the manufacturing of them. Raheem, we're going to go to John Fredericks about this, about the election, what's happening down in Georgia. But how many days unaccompanied they have not let Biden on a podium to go one-on-one?
So it's a 41 days, 3 hours, and 4 minutes exactly. And not only that, but Jen Psaki yesterday confirming that there are currently no plans to allow Joe Biden to give an unaccompanied press conference. For those interested, 1 day and 9 hours until I'm allowed back on Twitter.
Because of this type of stuff. Okay, for the audience. Signal, not noise. Let's reset the strategy here. They're coming at the Trump movement, or they're coming at this radical transformation of America in 4 different main verticals right now. You've got the money, and that's this COVID-19 bill. They can't pass it regularly, so they've gone to this kind of trick of reconciliation. $1.9 trillion now. Remember, because the Trump administration never had to use it, could pass it in normal order. There's 2 reconciliations, kind of inside baseball, not too detailed. You need to know this. They're coming this fall with a $2 trillion infrastructure bill. So they're going to load up close to $3 to $4 trillion, okay, of spending. And this is to pay off all their buddies. This bill right here gets very little direct cash to the American people, but a lot of payoffs to, I don't even like calling it the swamp. It's too cutesy a term, to the uniparty, the permanent political class in Washington, D.C. Then you've got the Equality Act. We're going to have Candace Owens and a clip from Tucker. Captain Bannon's going to be addressing this to radically go after religious freedom and particularly to destroy women's sports, okay? You've got that. That's the second vertical. You've got H.R. 1, which is this. Oh, you've got the amnesty bill. We're going to have Rosemary Jenks from Numbers USA. She's going to come. We got the amnesty to radically transform anywhere from 11 to 20, 25 million illegal aliens in the country. They want to radically change the electoral base of this country. That's the most radical amnesty bill ever put forward. And the last is H.R. 1, the elections bill. I want to go to John Fredericks right now.
Just before you do, I just want to summarize
across the country, We are fighting back at every step, in particular in elections, and we're going to go to Georgia in a second. What we got there?
No, I just want to summarize that really quick because Nancy Pelosi actually told in a call with her leadership team last night, actually told them she intends to turn her chamber into a factory for Democratic priorities, and it comes down to those things you're talking about, but not just those. You mentioned HR1. There's also going to be massive efforts on what they call police reform.
Yes.
They're talking about gun control measures as well, major stuff, and she is going to it's a production chain, right? This is what they're doing, and it's going to be hard and fast. You're not going to know which way to turn.
But here's what they need. This is what they need: a beachhead. This is what I'm saying. They're coming these four verticals now: the money, the vote, right? The radical breaking of religious freedom, and then obviously amnesty, right? So they're coming at it in how they steal elections. They want to permanently make it part of. Then how they change the electoral base. So those are the four big right now. Remember, victory begets victory. We're chopping these up as they go. Already backed off the amnesty part of it. They've already backed off a big piece of the COVID part. So we're going to have to get into all this. Okay, John Fredericks, what's going on? The folks down in Georgia are fighting back, and Stephanie Rule at MSNBC is in a total meltdown. So tell us what's actually happening down there, sir.
One of many liberals whose hair's gone on fire now, because now it's reality. We have said the whole time, Georgia's going to be the firewall. It's that General Assembly that's going to be the blueprint for America on how to fix the voting irregularities and make sure that every vote counts and is meaningful, and we don't have the shenanigans we had in 2020.
Hold it.
So
hang on. Every legal vote counts. Every certifiable vote counts. Every chain of custody vote counts. Those are votes, right? Defined term. Every legal vote counts. Not all votes count. Right, because there's a lot of votes that are not legal, not certifiable, no chain of custody. If that's your vote, sorry, not sorry, does not count. Correct, John Fredericks?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's what happened in Georgia yesterday. It's called HB 531, and it's called FAST, Fair, Accessible, Secure, and Transparent. That's what they want the next elections in Georgia to be. Now, this was very contentious yesterday. The Democrats went absolutely ballistic. They called it racist. They called it voter suppression.
Right.
So you're going to hear all the hyperbole. But let me tell you what the bill does, and let me just run through the facts. It does basically 6 things. Number 1, it requires a voter to submit an ID, either a driver's license in Georgia or an ID, before they can get an absentee ballot. You simply can't get an absentee ballot until you submit online your ID with a photo, then it's mailed to you. Number 2, drop boxes. This is key. Drop boxes are not outlawed, but drop boxes can only be inside a secure early voting facility, which means that if early voting is Monday, 9 to 5, precinct X or high school B, you can go in there and put your ballot in the envelope in the drop box inside, secured by election officials. They're not outside. They're not in front of Kroger. They're not in front of your church. They're not at somebody's house. You got to put them in a ballot inside. That's number 2. I got to run through all these, Steve, if you want.
Take your time. I want them all.
Number 3, it bans mobile polling places. Now, remember, in the runoff, what the Democrats did, totally illegal, is they put voting machines in RVs and drove them around high-propensity Democrat districts like an ice cream truck, rang the bell, pulled people out to go in the mobile unit and vote. That's illegal. The state legislature never passed that. Can't be done. That's gone with this bill. Number 4, it bans, this is key, bans any private funding from a third party of any part of an election.
See you, Zuckerberg. Boom. Sorry.
No more Facebook.
No more Zuckerberg.
No more Zuckerberg. Gone. This is a great bill. This is what they did, and it's the blueprint. Now, number 5, it bans out of precinct voting. Now, a lot of people are saying, what's out of precinct voting? You mean, yes, in Georgia, you could vote anywhere. You could just show up. If you live in Savannah, you could show up in Athens one day and early vote or vote on game day, and you can't do that. There's no chain of custody. There's no signature. These are provisional ballots. They all get stuffed in. You can't do that. So that was That was number 5, and that makes sense to anybody. Number 6, it requires a much shorter timeline in order to count the absentee ballots. So they have to start counting them early so that you can get the result in, like Florida did, by 10 or 11 p.m., and not 5 days later where there's all kinds of shenanigans going on. Number 7, it requires security paper for paper ballots. That means that the ballots that are legal are printed on are secure paper, kind of like a dollar bill. It can't be replicated. You can easily do a forensic analysis to see if it's not an authentic ballot. That's what's going on in Fulton County right now. That's what Garland Favorito has been fighting for weeks and weeks, trying to get access to what he thinks are up to 30,000 counterfeit ballots in Fulton County because they're not on the same paper. These are the 7 bills now. These passed 97 to 72, mostly total party lines. The Democrats are screaming. Stacey Abrams says there are going to be lawsuits, but the Republicans are unified here. And they said, go ahead and sue us, do whatever you want. This is the right thing to do. Now, here's the problem. Number 1, it goes to the Senate, where Jeff Duncan, the lieutenant governor, has the ability to try to kill this.
Is this the male model that I keep seeing rolled out on CNN all the time? Is that the pretty boy, guy?
This is Cosmo Man.
Cosmo Man.
That has a direct link to CNN. He carries a CNN camera in his chest pocket, so we can go on every 15 minutes. He's supposed to run for U.S. Senate. We've also got Butch Miller,
good luck
the
with that.
majority leader.
Yep.
Well, you've got, and that's it. Now, on the radio today in Atlanta, Governor Kemp goes on the radio. Of course, he doesn't go on the Godzilla of Truth. He doesn't go on my show, but he's got to go on the radio now to counteract us. So he goes on who? The Hugh Hewitt show on Salem. Hugh Hewitt, the guy who said it's Mitch McConnell's party now, that Hugh Hewitt. So he goes on his show where they offer him a hot cup of coffee and a cold soft drink. And he doesn't commit to this. He says, well, facts are out. I'm going to have to evaluate it. There's a lot of things that could change. I'm not going to commit to anything. So that's where we are, Steve, right now.
You should have recalled this guy. Okay, we missed an opportunity. You see what's happening in California. The only thing they understand is in their face. Okay, Kemp's a disaster. Duncan's a bigger disaster. This has got to go to the Senate. We're going to be fighting hard. Is the Stacey Abrams, who's Wonder Woman down there, right? I admire what she did. Okay? Is her consent now unwound? Is all these 7 you just walked us through, does that take her secret consent? Is that now non-operable if this gets passed as is? John Fredericks got about 30 seconds.
Yes, it's done. There's no consent decree. It doesn't matter if they can pass this. Now, here's the call to action. Action, action, action. If you're in Georgia right now and you have a phone, you have an email, call up your state senator right now. Call up every Republican state senator and say you want them to pass HB 531, especially call up Butch Miller, call Jeff Duncan. You want this passed. You want your legal vote to count and not legal votes not to count. You've got to take action. All these people understand, light their phones up like a pinball machine on Christmas Day.
Okay. John Fredericks, fantastic job. We're going to take a short commercial break and sell some ads here. We're going to return in a moment. This is John Fredericks on the John Fredericks Radio Network. He is on fire. We're going to go now to the southern border next with Rosemary Jenks. What exactly is going on in this crisis?
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, so that's the audience. I understand. We're going to have Phil Klein, I think, on tomorrow, walk us through the whole battlefield of the entire nation. But people and the deplorables at the state legislatures are all over the election business and to make this thing right, to set this thing right. So you see in Georgia, we're going to be following the Georgia situation very closely. Look, one thing you know about us here at the War Room, it's 7 days a week, it's 18 to 20 hours a day. I could not personally do this if I did not have the MyPillow, the Mike Lindell MyPillow. It is one of you sleep with that, and you will come out energized. Even if you get 4 or 5 hours a night, which everybody knows is what I do, right? To fire off the football early. We now have a new relationship with MyPillow. You can go to 800-873-1062. You get up to 66% off on all of their products, but particularly they're giving us a special deal here. The queen size premium MyPillow, you can get it for $29.98. It's normally $69.98. So look, if you want to be energized, you want to get to sleep, stay asleep, and come out firing off the football energized, go to mypillow.com. Go there today. We've got to use the promo code War Room. Promo code War Room. Give us a shout out there. Promo code War Room. Go to MyPillow. Okay, go to mypillow.com. So we're going to get Rosemary Jenks on here. We're going to do the second vertical. The second vertical is the amnesty, and there's a big story today in Politico about the amnesty situation. You're an expert in this, Mr. Raheem Kassam. Your thoughts?
Oh, I was just going to comment on your good night's sleep thing, because I use my MyPillow, and I love my MyPillow.
It changed your life.
But there's another thing.
You were very cranky until you got MyPillow.
That's true.
You were very cranky.
It was either MyPillow or my fiance.
Very cranky, very cranky, and not quite that productive. But
also, there's another thing that helps to cure COVID that also helps me sleep.
What?
Gin-soaked raisins.
We're getting that woman on from. And by the way, I thought she's England. She's New Jersey. 105 years old. Gin-soaked raisins. Okay, I want to go to the second vertical. Is this monstrous amnesty bill that has no internal security, no wall building, the ICE is gone. It's a disaster. But particularly on this refugee situation at the southern border and throughout the country, we're going to bring in Rosemary Jenks. Rosemary, where do we stand in all of this right now, ma'am?
This is just getting more insane every single day. And by the way, these are not refugees at the border. These are illegal aliens, plain and simple. So when Mayorkas, the Secretary of DHS, is talking about reuniting families, he thinks that by leaving out the word illegal, that Americans won't realize that what they are doing is actually going into Mexico and Central America and finding parents who have been deported from the United States to bring them back here because they made a decision to leave their children here when they were deported. That's what's happening here. It's completely insane.
Okay, hold it. Hang on, slow down, but explain that to the American people again. This is what's not getting clear on any. Walk through what exactly our government today, the illegitimate, illegal government today, what are they? Because, hey, we've got the receipts. You did not win on November 3rd, and we're never backing off that. And by the way, 40% of the American people agree with us. Walk through what the Biden regime is doing right now about this, ma'am.
They have this task force of reuniting families because when the President Trump deported illegal aliens, some of those illegal aliens made a choice to leave their children here in the United States with relatives or friends or whatever. So now Mayorkas, under the Biden administration, is sending people into Mexico and Central America to find the parents who were deported for being here illegally and bring them back into the United States to reunite with their children who also came in illegally. And his message to the world, and he says this in the Politico article, don't come now. Now's not the right time. We want you to come, but don't come now. But if you do come, our borders are wide open. We're back to catch and release.
But
what do you think is going to happen?
Go back to what he actually said, because I want to say about this plea to not come now, but to come in the future. I want the audience to hear that. Just repeat that, what he said.
He said, don't come. We are saying don't come now because we will be able to deliver a safe and orderly process as quickly as possible. Come, but don't come now. But if you come now, it's okay because we'll still let you in. The messaging here is appalling.
What is that messaging? When you say appalling, what do you mean? What is that messaging going to do?
We're going to see an increase in the surge that's already happening. There is going to be no end. I mean, how many people can get to our southern border in the next 4 years? It's terrifying to think about because they're coming. They're coming from Haiti. They're coming from Cuba. They're coming from Central America, South America, everywhere around the world. They're coming to the southern border because the sign has been put out that they are welcome.
So what is this?
And by the way,
yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Biden's amnesty plan, we just crunched the numbers on this, and over the next 10 years, that bill would give green cards to over 37 million aliens. 37 million. That's almost the population of California in 10 years.
10 years, so 37 million would get green cards, and that would allow them to basically work here in the United States and be permanent residents?
Yep, and get citizenship.
In a path to citizenship, right? 37 million over 10 years.
Yep.
Is that any other aspects of the amnesty bill that you guys at Numbers USA, who do the best job of all, any other aspects you want to share with us of other analysis you've done?
Well, I mean, other than the amnesties for every single illegal alien who's in the country, it also more than doubles legal immigration. So it's not just a one-time amnesty. This would be more than doubling of legal immigration in perpetuity. So, I mean, the numbers are just astounding.
And so basically the corporations are getting what they want. They're going to be able to flood the zone with cheap labor. I mean, this is what it's all about, right? The Democrats want the votes, and the donor class wants the cheap labor, right? At every aspect. It's going to be competing against your kids for the tech jobs. Yep.
The cost of that is the destruction of our country. We will lose our country.
So what is, right now, you're the activist group. What is Numbers USA? Because this is an action-oriented thing. By the way, I just want to make sure, this is not demonizing the people in Central America. We're not arguing that it's not a tragedy of biblical proportions. But the solutions have to be down there. The solutions cannot be on the shoulders of working-class Hispanic and African-American families, and particularly along the southern border and in the inner cities. Why do you think people are rational? You put incentives, they're going to come here, obviously, right? You put incentives, they're going to come here. That's why also in the Rio Grande Valley, in these heavily Hispanic working class areas, Trump is winning. That's why, Perez is sitting there going, oh, it's foreign influence. No. It's rationality. They're making logical decisions. Hey, the wall keeps me more secure. Trump's policies keep the zone from being flooded with cheap, illegal alien labor. Right? I got lower unemployment, and guess what? I finally got my wages rising. That's what Steve Cortez calls it, the Strivers economy. People are rational. We just have to have rational policies to go into this. Is this bill as radical as anything you've ever seen, Rosemary?
100%. It is more radical than anything I have ever seen.
Do you see
There's just no question. I mean, to have...
Yep. Keep going.
To do that scale of increases in immigration with zero enforcement, zero effort to prevent the next flood of illegal aliens while they're actually inviting the next flood of illegal aliens into the country. It's crazy. I mean, I just don't understand it. If you want to preserve this country, you want this policy.
Okay. What about the president's speech at CPAC? He focused on this. Do you think it was strong enough? Do you think it was detailed enough? Stephen Miller had a hand in this. What did you think about the president's speech, about his counterposition?
Yeah, I thought he gave a great speech. I mean, let's face it, we did not get all the reforms that we needed during the Trump administration. But we also did not have an administration that was actively inviting illegal immigration. They actually came up with solutions. The Remain in Mexico policy was a groundbreaking policy to stop a surge, and it worked. And this administration is tearing down everything that President Trump did. The president is absolutely right to point all that out.
Tell me, is the Republican Party focused on this now? Are people on Capitol Hill focused on this? And how can people get to your site? And what does this audience need to do to have your back and to make sure that rational policies are implemented and that this radical policy is not?
Well, we're looking at potential votes on amnesty bills in the House in the next 3 weeks. They will be voting most likely on an agricultural amnesty and on a Dreamer amnesty that's expanded, of course, beyond just DACA. So we need all the help we can get with people contacting their members of Congress and saying no to these amnesty efforts. And the Republicans are not yet focused on, most of them. Some of them obviously are. Our heroes, Andy Biggs and Tom Cotton and, folks like that are focused on it. But most of the Republicans, including the Republican leadership, are not.
Okay.
And we're going to get steamrolled if we don't have grassroots pressure on members of Congress. And the best way to do that is to go to numbersusa.com and click the Join Us button in the top left corner. And we will give you everything you need to know to contact your members of Congress easily and quickly and make your voices heard.
Okay. NumbersUSA.com, and you can get all the analysis and in action there. We're also going to put up CISs too. Okay, Rosemary, thank you very much. What's your Twitter handle? How do people follow you during the day?
We're on Facebook and Twitter at NumbersUSA.
This is another McCarthy fiasco. Okay, thank you very much, Rosemary Jenks. This is where McCarthy's got to step up and show some leadership. He's got to stop kowtowing to Liz Cheney and protecting Liz Cheney. He's got to listen to the president. He's got to listen to the president's speech. You know, no more pledge chairman. This is now down to the serious business. If he really wants to be a leader, Donald Trump dragged all those guys across the goal line in the House votes in 2020. It wasn't McCarthy. McCarthy can't win anything across the nation. People don't even know who he is in California. He's got virtually zero name recognition in his home state. This is all about Donald Trump. This is serious, and Jim Jordan and House leadership got to get on top of this and get on top of this today. The American people cannot be blindsided about this. Everybody's got to be on the ramparts explaining the facts. American people got common sense. Okay, short commercial break. We're going to go next to the pandemic and the vaccines. Raheem Kassam and Dr. Peter Navarro, who is head of the manufacturing aspect of this for the president, next.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, to be a patriot warrior, you got to also be a health warrior. We've got our new offering. We were able to procure 1 million bottles of the zinc and 1 million bottles of the vitamin D3. This is now part of the War Room Defense Pack. We want everybody out there to be as healthy as possible. We're in it for the long haul, right? You get a good night's sleep, you come firing off the football, but you got to be healthy for the long haul. Go to warroomdefense.com, warroomdefense.com. Become a wellness warrior. Remember, none of it's sourced in China. We follow the Rosemary Gibson to the T, all manufactured here. Okay, we've got 1 million bottles of vitamin D3 and zinc. Go there today, pay shipping and handling, get the whole program. Just go online, ask all your questions, sign up, and get healthy. That's what we need here. Healthy health warriors. Okay, now we got the FBI director live. It's totally absurd. We're sitting here in an occupied Capitol. I hope today they're pressing him, the Republicans are pressing him on what is actually the intelligence of Joe Biden hasn't given a State of the Union because Joe Biden can't stand up there in front of the nation and give a State of the Union. That's what it's about. Also, he won't draw an audience, but he can't stand up there and do it. That's why we're delayed. I think the first time since 1981, is it not, Raheem Kassam, that we've delayed the State of the Union? Yeah. And they're saying because there's IC chatter, because domestic terrorists, that would be you, audience, are trying to blow up the Capitol when he gives a State of the Union. That is nonsense. There may be some chatter out there with these wingnut groups, but not enough to have this permanent, semi-permanent right now, razor wire, fencing, troops. Troops are now sick because of the bad food they're being served, right? Food poisoning with metal in some of the food is being reported. And by the way, what did Ray just say? How many investigations are open right now, Raheem Kassam?
55 FBI offices out of 56 have open investigations.
55 and 56. And how many people have actually been, 85 have been charged?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And 5 are associated with extremist groups and white supremacy groups. Doesn't sound like the 1 million people that were there that day that peacefully marched in the what, under 1,000 that they think actually went in the building, right? And I don't know, the stats are small. They're small vis-a-vis who was there, correct, Mr. Raheem Kassam?
Yeah, I mean, and so here's the thing. I mean, Ray's up there now. He's talking about how white supremacist terrorism is on par with ISIS.
He didn't say that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he just said.
We got to get these poll quotes. That's outrageous.
Remember,
white supremacist terrorist is, by the way, they are bad guys. There's no doubt about that. But you can't tell me it's as bad as ISIS.
Right. I mean, there's about 12
You've covered this all your life.
And ISIS controlled the equivalent of the amount of square footage of major countries. Hold
it. When Trump took over, the physical caliphate of ISIS, you had 2 failed states called Iraq and Syria.
Yep.
You had a real state in the middle of it and taking part of their territory. It was called the caliphate.
Yeah.
Okay? Donald J. Trump broke that in 18 months with some tough combat up there, right?
Not
killed
just that,
a lot. Killed a
think
lot.
about all the funding streams,
exactly.
all of the radicalization streams, everything that's been going on.
But they
online.
also killed a lot of bad guys.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. And this is now what the FBI director is. I mean, this is how
Obscenity.
you know
he
may as well be wearing a clown nose
He
up there.
should have been fired. We had the opportunity. Should have been fired. Should be up there. Okay.
But just quickly.
Yep.
The very idea that the president of the United States can't give a State of the Union address.
Can't do that. Can't
because
go G7.
because he is afraid of some Americans is what they're saying. He's afraid. There's some icy chatter that there's going to be. Look, they schooled the audience with Designated Survivor. Did you ever see this?
No.
This television show. Designated Survivor.
Did you not hear the read? I work 20 hours a day and sleep on my pillow for 4 and then get back to work energized.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do another read if you don't stop. It changed your life.
They put this whole thing together where, for the most part, Americans now believe that this is a real thing and really, that somebody would be able to blow up the Capitol during the State of the Union. It's nonsense.
Okay.
It's Hollywood.
Okay.
It's fantastical.
Okay. Here's the thing. There's no coincidence. There's no conspiracy, but there are no coincidences, right? He's not giving the State of the Union because he can't stand up there and give a State of the Union.
Right.
They're panicked that something he would fade out in the middle of it. He's not doing the. He's an unaccompanied minor, right? He's not doing the press conferences because they're afraid somebody's going to actually ask a tough question, like the question we're going to play before Natalie Winters comes on here about the Confucius Institute. They're afraid he's going to get a shot from a non-friendly, and he's going to babble something, and he's going to show that he's not with the program. Right? Okay, so that's and number 3, they haven't even committed was the G7. They haven't committed. They haven't committed to that yet. You connect those dots, and you see he's basically doing the same thing on the campaign, right? The Transition Integrity Project that they had from Perkins scoring these guys, they knew exactly how they were going to steal this, right? And I tell you how to steal it. Go back to Stephanie Reel's meltdown today in MSNBC. The 7-part program in the House in Georgia that passed shows you how to stop this nonsense. And also, you got the gutless Kemp, the gutless governor, and the pretty boy, the male model, Duncan, lieutenant governor, are not committed to this. How can you not be committed to this common sense bill right here? Okay? That's how you stop it.
You asked, or rather, you raised the point in. What was it, 10 days ago, and you said, hey, have you seen Kamala's taking his phone calls, or rather making his phone calls? And then we were talking about it, and Mike McCormick, the former White House stenographer...
To heads of state.
Yeah, and Mike McCormick texts me, he goes, you don't get it. They're warming Kamala up for the G7 because Biden cannot go to the G7. Yesterday, a British reporter in the Brady Press briefing room asks, hey, is Biden actually going to be at the G7? And Psaki goes, we're not even sure if that's a thing yet, if it's going to be in person.
I'll circle back to you.
And by the way, it's the UK is hosting it.
Yeah.
It's in Cornwall.
Yeah.
And everyone's planning to be there in person.
Of course they are.
Or every other country, I believe, has confirmed. They're going in person.
It's a thing.
They've got Modi going, I believe.
Absolutely.
They've got others going along as
She'll
well.
send some guys over there too. Come on, it's going to be big.
Well, no, it's really interesting because I think it's the Japanese, the Indians, and the Australians who are the special invitees to this G7. You telling me Biden's going to snub that?
He can't go because they're gonna the jig is up.
Yeah.
He's not engaged right now. Ron Klain is running Prime Minister Ron Klain is running everything right now. Okay, I want to go to Peter Navarro. Peter, we talked about the 4 verticals, how they're coming at us with the financing of this, with the radical H.R. 1 on the election. You got the Equality Act of religious liberties, right? And you've got the amnesty bill. We had Rosemary Jenks on here just real quickly. You've been the guy on the economics to defend. This is he and Cortez are the biggest defenders of Hispanic and African-American working class families in this nation. Peter Navarro, Steve Cortez, working for Donald J. Trump. How radical? I mean, she's saying now 37 million green cards over the next 10 years in this bill. Besides the illegal aliens they're going to give citizenship to, and then also the legal immigration, which is another blow up. Remember, if your kid's in a STEM program in grade school, don't think he's going to get a great job, they're going to get a great job in Silicon Valley because they're going to let the world in here to compete with them. Go ahead, Mr. Navarro.
I'm not worried about the long run or the medium run to get Keynes. It's like we're all dead then. What I'm worried about is the next 6 to 12 to 18 months when we see at least 2 million illegal aliens come into this country and begin to compete for jobs against working class Americans and to basically take our tax dollars for school, for health care, for whatever it is, living a better lifestyle in some cases than some Americans right here in America's working class. So that's the tragedy of the border. It's coming at us hard. I don't know. The Biden administration has no economic program. Basically, what they're doing is they're consigning the Trump deplorables essentially to a Hobbesian life that is nasty, brutish, and short. But what I'd like to do, because we talked about this, I've got a couple of charts apropos of my background today. I want to show you some stuff that you won't see on the regular media, just to kind of get people into kind of what the crisis is now, because the media now, since the election's over, doesn't really cover the CCP virus and all that. So let me show you some stuff real quick, Steve. I want to show you, first of all, we're over the 500,000 mark of the people that the Chinese Communist Party killed here in America with their virus. We've been averaging a little over 1,000 deaths per day, okay? But what really interesting here, Steve, look at this. The daily new cases peaked back on January 8th at 274,000. And today, that daily new cases is down to only 46,000. I mean, think about that. Think about that. That it's like, if you look at the chart, it looks like a mountain, and we're way off the top of that. Now, the second thing that's important here is when we talk about the vaccinations and herd immunity. So far to date, we've had 75 million vaccinations. People get stuck in their arms. There's been about 1,100 people who've died from that. So your risk of dying from a vaccination is low.
Hang on. Whoa. Hang on a second. Slow down. And for our podcast and radio audience, we're explaining these charts as we go through. I want to make sure the live chat understands also. 1,100 people died. I just want to make sure we reference this, because I'm sure everybody in the world is going to be trying to pull us down by saying, "Oh my God, you're talking about deaths from vaccine? That's verboten." Footnote that for me. Show me where.
That's a statistic. I mean, look, you go to that's a clear, firm statistic. 1,100 people died from 75 million sticks. Okay, but here's the most important thing. Because it takes 2 sticks to be fully vaccinated with with vaccinations, we've had 4 million people now fully vaccinated. Okay, in a country with 350 million. In addition to that, we've had 29 million people who've actually had the infection. So the point here is that we've got about 52 million Americans who either have had the virus or who have been vaccinated. So that's 16% of the population. To get to herd immunity, you have to cross the threshold of 50%, and some scientists think it's as high as 80%. But what you can see here, and this is the good news because of President Trump's vaccines, we're steadily moving towards a situation where this crisis is going to begin to significantly abate. People are still dying in unacceptable numbers, but as I said, the problem peaked, at least it had its last peak back on January 8th. So that's the big picture here. And what's interesting is you're not getting this from Jen Psaki. You're not really getting it from CNN or MSNBC or whatever. It's like, but that's the clarity here. This is exactly what's going on for your audience. Admiral granularity.
Okay, hang on for a second. We're going to hold you over the break and bring you back. By the way, I think some people argue, and we're going to have some doctors on here in the next couple of weeks, some specialists, that one of these vaccines may be best described as an experimental gene therapy, maybe not a traditional vaccine, but we're going to get into all that. Also, Fauci, in talking about herd immunity, I mean, his number's up to 75, range from 75 to 90, and they haven't been clear about this. They have not been clear about this, Mr. Raheem Kassam. They have not been clear about it. If you've had it, are you considered in the calculation of herd immunity? Now, every time if you read what they're saying, they talk about the vaccine and herd immunity. You don't talk about people that have actually had it. When we first started this show, remember, Hatfield and these guys were on here. If you get it, that's the basis of building what the antibodies that lead to the herd immunity. So now this is about their communication strategy. They're never consistent day to day to day. You really don't have an idea what the plan is, and here's why. They're worse than making it up when they go along. Okay, we're going to keep Dr. Peter Navarro. We're going to return.
And we've got some breaking news when we come back.
Huge breaking news on this Ray testimony next.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Remember, it's an ever-shifting political landscape, an ever-shifting financial landscape. We're in the middle of a pandemic, right, where everything can change at any time. Think about it. A year ago, March 1st last year, Donald J. Trump, Cuomo, and Newsom had the highest ratings of any politician. President Trump won on November 3rd. I don't care what they say. He won on November 3rd, but he's not in the White House. He's in Mar-a-Lago, okay? A lot of that is tied to the CCP virus, particularly all these shenanigans they pulled on this voting. Cuomo is about to get, looks like, forget the women for a second. Look at the nursing homes, right? There's going to be a formal investigation of that. Could be some indictments out of there. His career looks like over. And Gavin Newsom's about to be recalled. Then on top of it, the fourth guy was Abbott, right? So it's shifting every day. You got to stay on top of this every day. It always shifts. These guys were at the top of their game on March 1st of a year ago. Raheem, we got big breaking news coming out of this. I mean, shocking, quite frankly, that the FBI could give this testimony. The director of the FBI, what's going on?
So FBI Director Wray was asked about the death of Officer Sicknick, something I think that this audience
he was
know.
He was bludgeoned to death by a fire extinguisher, as we were told over and over and over again.
Well, so that is something
by one of the domestic terrorists.
That is something that was immediately told to everyone in the world, was immediately ingrained into everybody's knowledge base and psyche.
His murder.
And then on February the 6th, I noticed this line buried deep in a CNN article that said, there are sources who now say that this may not be true. And so we took that, we reported it out. Then
at the National Pulse.
At the National Pulse. Then Darren Beatty over at Revolver.news starts doing the deep dive into all the timeline of events surrounding Officer Sicknick, the death, whether or not he went home, who he spoke to, why he was cremated so quickly, why we haven't received more information about this.
There's no toxicology report. And
None of it.
And who ordered the cremation of the officer? Was it the family or was it authorities? None of these questions have been answered, so I assume it's going to be answered today by the head of the... Since he's got 56 field officers doing investigations of all these domestic terrorists...
55.
55, let's get numbers right. 55 that are all threatening to blow up the Capitol so Joe Biden doesn't have to give a State of the Union. Right. Got it? We got that. Okay, and we got a wall around here like Berlin with razor wire on top of it. Poor Navarro can't do his normal bike ride, right? Because they got this thing sealed off. Jack Posobiec's getting hounded when he comes out of One American News by the poor troops who are being fed food that's no good, right? Now, they're all here from the different states. It's costing, what, $500 million? We spent more on the wall around here and the security than we're spending on the southern border. So Ray must make this all clear today, I assume, Dr. Raheem Kassam.
So he was asked, can we have more information about the death of Officer Sicknick? And the response was no. Just refused to disclose any further information, says he's not going to comment any further. And I think, this is...
Because they don't have their lies together. They don't have their lies together.
Remember, it's not that they don't have their lies together, it's that the lie fell apart. The lie actually fell apart.
No, but they got the new lie. They got the new lie, the bear spray.
That's right.
They got a new lie.
They've always got a backup.
They had a first lie, and that was blown up by National Pulse and Beatty. And Beatty's got more information coming out. They're just checking with their lawyers to make sure they can drop it. They got much more information coming out on this thing. They can't line up the lie. He doesn't want to be recorded on national TV lying again.
Right.
Somebody ought to ask him, the hard drive from hell, when did you get Biden's hard drive back in December of 19? It's outrageous. And the Republicans got to start the confirmation hearings are weak because they're not lighting people up. Legitimately, I'm all for, hey, if a guy picks a cabinet, he should have it unless there's some big issue. But the advice and consent, you got to get these people on the record constantly. Okay, I'm going to go back to Dr. Peter Navarro. Dr. Navarro, the one I know, sir, I wasn't over in the economics department. I was across the river at the MBA factory, right, getting my union card. But I know 1,100 is a statistic. Okay, I know it's a statistic. Tell me where you got that statistic from, Dr. Navarro.
That comes right from the Centers for Disease Control website.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you think about
1,100 people have died. 1,100 people have died. 1,100 people have died.
1,100, yeah.
Okay, died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In other words, you got anywhere from a 1 in 25,000 to a 1 in 75,000 chance of dying when you get that vaccine. And look, it's cost benefit. You got to compare that to your chance of dying from the CCP virus.
You're
right?
a social. You're a social
That's,
scientist. Tell me about the herd immunity. You've totally confused me now. On do I need a vaccine? If I get it? What's the story with herd immunity?
Well, the whole ideology of herd immunity is that once you get to a certain point where people have either been vaccinated or have developed their own immunities by being infected with the virus, that prevents the spread, right? If you think about, go into a restaurant, if there's like 80% of the people inside the restaurant who have already been infected or vaccinating, the other 20% are relatively safe, right? So you get to some kind of threshold where the virus can't spread more. But here's the problem, and this is why, again, I keep thinking the CCP is really, this could be a bioweapon. It's like the mutations, Steve. The mutations upset the whole concept of herd immunity, because if you have a mutation that the vaccine does not work, and or you have a mutation whereby if somebody got the virus already but then can get this new mutation again because the immunities they built up don't work, then boom. So that's why, we're in a world of uncertainty and risk right now going forward. There's a lot of people thinking, hey, everything's going to be fine in 6 months and we're going to all get back to normal. But this is why the Chinese Communist Party needs to be investigated. We need to get to the bottom of exactly what they did. Did they do gain of function? Is this a bioweapon? Are they intentionally allowing this thing to mutate? Did they figure out mutations when they were doing gain of function? Because this thing, Steve, it's not normal. This virus, I mean, the whole thing of asymptomatic spread to begin with, that's not a normal characteristic of SARS viruses. The idea, that's like straight out of a Jack Bauer 24 episode where you send these Chinese nationals on gleaming jetliners
CCP.
over to the U.S.
Yep.
and don't have symptoms, and the next thing you know,
exactly.
You got New York.
Okay, we got
having a crisis.
We got 15 seconds. How do people get to your reports?
PeterNavarro.com, and then Real P Navarro on Twitter. Although my Twitter account went dead for about 24 hours after I posted something about the president's speech. So Twitter's got to get their act together and read the First Amendment. Let's start with that, Jack Dorsey.
Okay,
the First Amendment.
We're going to take a short
Please,
commercial
thank
break.
You.